It is finally Friday, and the weather here is absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. I am your host, James Murphy, aka Murph, and today we are going to be diving into the latest breaking news from the Boston Celtics in their trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder, where they traded Kemba Walker and some draft picks for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a second-round draft pick. I'm going to dive into all of the nitty-gritty of that trade, discussing every single piece that was moved in this trade, break it all down, see who wins, see who loses that trade, and just really try to understand why the Celtics are trading Kemba, and also try to understand why they're trading for Al Horford, right? In addition, Madden 22 cover athlete or athletes has been released and revealed, where we see Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes both on the cover of this coming year's Madden game. I'll be reacting to that and breaking that down. Why them? Was it supposed to be them? Got some questions that I want to get answered, and I will be doing that in this episode. Also, going to be talking, of course, about the Red Sox, as they're the only team right now currently playing, although Patriots minicamp just kind of wrapped up. But yes, we'll be discussing all of that and more in this episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. So I must ask you, like I do every single time, please download, listen, and enjoy as always. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe if you're new or haven't considered subscribing, and also comment down below any thoughts, opinions, comments, questions, or concerns. And if you're listening on those audio-only platforms such as Spotify, Google, Apple, Syncify, Amazon, whatever, reach out to me on social media at Murphs_BostonST, where the ST stands for Sports Talk, as always. And although I'm recording and in that situation, or I guess in this situation, it is annoying to hear kids outside playing because they're screaming, and it's also annoying to hear a freaking lawnmower going. But those are just clear signs that it is summertime. I guess almost, not technically summertime for all those people out there that are gonna say, hey, it's still spring. It is basically summertime, beautiful weather. Took a nice drive down to Newport today. Oh, gorgeous driving, and was able to really enjoy myself there. But yes, let's just shut up with this and that. Let's just dive into the trade, because that's basically what you are here for. So the trade between the Boston Celtics and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder will be receiving Kemba Walker, a 2021 first-round pick, which is number 16 in this year's draft, a 2025 second-round pick, and in return for giving that up, the Boston Celtics will be receiving Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick. So a couple second-round picks being tossed around, and then the Celtics are acquiring two big men while giving up Kemba Walker and this year's first-round draft pick. Immediately, before I look at stats or facts or anything, what do I think of this trade? Well, I don't like receiving Al Horford from the Thunder, because we had him, he walked because he wanted to get more money. But I like the fact that Kemba Walker has now been traded. It gives the Celtics more cap flexibility, because you're saving like $6 or $7 or so million on this year's salary cap. Plus, you won't have to pay Kemba Walker come next year, because Al Horford's contract is all the guaranteed money is this year and not next year. So come next year, you can just, trade him, release him, or whatever, and just, be done with him. Moses Brown, I keep saying Brown. Why? I don't know. Moses Brown. I discussed him before last week's podcast episodes, where I was kind of doing those mock trades where, Kemba Walker wanted to leave the Celtics. And before he came out saying that, I was also exploring possible trades where the Celtics could be acquiring players, start players, moving some things around so they can kind of reload for next year. And Moses Brown was one of those players I had, being thrown in with the Oklahoma City Thunder, because the Thunder were able to take Kemba Walker's full contract because they had the salary cap space, because they don't have a lot of high-priced players except for Al Horford and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's, last year of his rookie deal, I believe. And to have Kemba Walker off the books just generally speaking, contractual wise, fantastic, because he's 32 years older now, or 31, going to be 32. The knee is dinged up. He wasn't able to play any full season with the Celtics. Been kind of a problem that kind of started to spur towards the end of this past year. But the sucky thing is you have to give up a first-round draft pick in addition for a team to just take on Kemba Walker. And I'm very surprised and confused that that was the choice that the Thunder wanted to go in, is they wanted to add another first-round draft pick, because they have like 13 first-round draft picks in the next like 3 or 4 years or something stupid like that. So unless they use those draft picks to bundle up and go after and trade for some player, they're going to kind of fall into the same position that the Celtics were in, past couple years, where they have 2, 3 draft picks in the first round and then a couple in the second round. It's great to have an abundance of draft picks, but like I said, look at the Celtics. At some point, you got to cash them in, and you got to use them in some way, shape, or form, because yes, not every draft pick works, so it's nice to have multiple, and it gives you the flexibility to kind of swing and miss on 1 or 2 picks. But I mean, if you draft all 13 or whatever, how many draft picks they have, what are you going to do? That's basically a full team right there. So like I said, you can package them up, you can bundle them up and go move and get yourself a superstar if you wish. But I just would hate to see the Thunder be in the situation where they're just kind of forced to make a move because, some of the players they already have are starting to develop. They have too many draft picks. What are we going to do? Let's just move them, bring somebody in, and then just say it doesn't work out. I'm just kind of throwing, shit on a wall here. But these are kind of some things that you have to think about because we've seen it with the Celtics. So just from the Thunder's perspective, wanting a first-round pick instead of maybe like a player or two, questionable, or like a future first-round draft pick, and also the Celtics having to trade that first-round draft pick. Boy, does it suck. It sucks having to trade that first-round draft pick. In addition to Kemba Walker, and I guess you want to call him the second-round draft pick, sucky too, because all you're getting back is Al Horford and Moses Brown, and just moving up a little bit in this for a second-round draft pick. At the end of the day, I like the trade. I think it is a win for the Celtics. Maybe not next year, but definitely a year after that, due to the fact that you can move on from Al Horford's contract a lot easier than you'll be able to move on from Kemba Walker's contract. Now, people are going to be kind of, bitchy about the fact that we had to give up that first-round draft pick, but look at the player that we got back in return other than Al Horford, and that's Moses Brown. There I go again. Moses Brown. Now, like I said, I did talk about him in previous podcast episodes when I was doing mock trades. And last year, he had a very good season. I mean, in 43 games, he got 8.6 points and 8.9 total rebounds. That's not that bad. That's not that bad for a 21-year-old big man who was undrafted, I believe. Yeah, he was undrafted. And like I said, I was very high on him in like those mock trades. And now that the fact that this is developed and unfolded, a lot of people are doing, their quick research on it to try to figure out who he is. And a lot of people are really liking this kid. 7'2", 245 pounds, obviously a center. He's only 21 years old, so he has a couple years left on a rookie deal. And he can almost, I guess if you give him more minutes, he'll be able to average a double-double. Hopefully kind of give you what that Tristan Thompson was supposed to give you this year, a consistent average double-double, kind of a similar player to Robert Williams, the Time Lord, except just a little bit skinnier and more emphatic. But, the rim protector, the shot blocker, the rebounder. I really like this addition, and I think it's going to be a nice little, handcuff between Brown and Time Lord, where they're both the same position, have a lot of the same skill set, but on the other hand, also kind of different at the same time in terms of physical style, physical nature, and of the like. And I've even heard a little bit through the grapevine that a lot of people like Moses Brown more than they do at any draft pick outside of the top 10 in this year's draft. Now, I didn't do any draft research because the basketball draft has kind of taken its toll on me because it's cool. I love watching it. It's super exciting. But just, I don't know. It just doesn't hold the same value that the football draft holds. And I'd say that's the same for a lot of people. But obviously, I'm going to still sit and watch it come whenever the draft is. I'm not even sure what day it is. But I remember a couple years ago, Kim and I were down in Myrtle Beach and we were watching the NBA draft where Luka and Trae Young and Zion all get drafted out of that draft class. So there's some star players to come out of the draft. I ain't going to lie with you. But giving up a first round draft pick also helps the Celtics because, like I said, they have a bunch of young guys on their team currently. Aaron Nesmith, Romeo Langford, Peyton Pritchard. I mean, you have Jabari Parker next year, still only 26 years old. Obviously, Tatum and Brown, who are, still young players, but they're your star players. You still have Tremont Waters, Grant Williams. Hopefully, maybe potentially you bring back Evan Fournier, who's not young, but still a piece you need to consider. Carson Edwards, even. I know some of those guys that are named aren't young or they weren't first-round draft picks, but they're still draft picks. And your homegrown picks, Waters, Williams, Pritchard, Semi Ojeleye, Langford, Nesmith, Carson Edwards. These guys are going to have to either contribute and play well for you, or you're going to have to move on from some of them. And I think Langford and Nesmith are going to be here for the long haul. Semi Ojeleye, I believe his contract's up after this year. He's been around for a little bit now. You know what he is. He's kind of like a 3-and-D kind of guy. And if that's what you want, filling up a spot on your roster, then so be it. And there's a conversation we had about just about anybody. But what are you going to do with that first-round draft pick if you still had it that you haven't already done? You've drafted a guard. You've drafted forwards. You've drafted big men. And some of them people like and some of them other people don't like. So exactly what would they even use that draft pick for? So might as well use it in addition to trading Kemba in that 2025 second-round draft pick, whatever, or a Moses Brown, who people do like and who is a fit, who I don't want to say he's proven because he's still young and has a lot to prove, but he has NBA playing experience. He has playing time. He has minutes under his belt. So he can only go up from here, and he already has a baseline in terms of who he is as a player. And I guess you're bringing back Al Horford as well. He's a system fit. I don't see him asking for a lot of minutes like he once did when he was with the Celtics a couple years ago as a starter. But you also get him in return. Say what you want. He has some leadership capabilities, but how much of a leader is he really going to be for this team? You saw how the team was when they had him before. There was ups and down years, but overall, Al Horford was just included as part of a salary dump for the Thunder, right? So can you flip Al Horford? Maybe, maybe not, but I guess it gives you some depth at the big man position, which is something that you lacked towards the end of this past year because you did trade away Daniel Tice. Robert Williams was injured. You had Tristan Thompson. Luke Cornett was Luke Cornett. Jabari Parker's not a center. He's more of a forward. And you also had Taco Fall, who's doing Taco Fall things, and Grant Williams. And I don't really think Grant Williams and Taco Fall should be getting playing time minutes. Hell, Luke Cornett shouldn't even be getting playoff playing minutes, right? But at least with Al Horford, I guess you could kind of put him in and you can expect something decent to happen, I guess. But like I said, it'll just give you some depth because I think this year you'd rather throw in Al Horford than like a Taco Fall, right? I think that's just everyone would agree with that. Obviously, people would say no because they want Taco in for all the memes. So, okay, let's change it. Al Horford or Grant Williams. That's what I thought. So, at the end of the day, do I like this trade? Generally speaking, I do. I do like this trade, generally speaking. But there are obviously some more moves to be had, right? You're cluttered at the big man position. You have Moses Brown. You have Al Horford, Tristan Thompson, Time Lord, I already said Tristan Thompson, sorry. Grant Williams, there we go. Taco Fall, Luke Cornett, if you want to bring him back, I guess. So that's like six big guys that I just named. Grant Williams, did I name Grant Williams? I forget. So more moves are going to be had. You're not going to carry that many big men on your roster this year. So Tristan Thompson, I know I spoke highly of him, but overall, he had a down season. He underperformed and he didn't do well this year. He had a couple nice games here and there, but that's it. I feel like if you move on from him, you can save that money and kind of push it somewhere else. I'm not going to sit here and do mock trades because the season's not over yet and this trade's not going to be official until once the season is over. But these are things you need to consider. Now you don't have a first-round draft pick this year to kind of dance and dangle with another team in front of for any potential trade. So what other valuable trade piece do you have? A sign and trade of Evan Fournier? Sure. Marcus Smart, maybe. People say trade Jaylen Brown and this and that and go get a superstar. I think Jaylen Brown can be that superstar that you want to go out and trade and try to trade for, right? He is going to be that guy. At least I hope. So definitely expect more moves to come for the Celtics. This isn't going to be the only deal. And to see Brad Stevens, not even maybe just like a week or so, into the president of basketball operations, a.k.a. the general manager's chair, in that office that Danny Ainge once held. And he's already making a splash, already trying to improve this team for next season, which I do like. I like the fact that he's going out and being aggressive and making a move, right? Would Danny Ainge make this move? I don't think so. I do not see Danny Ainge making this move because I don't think he would have traded Kemba Walker. I don't think he would have traded the first-round draft pick, and I don't think he would have traded for Al Horford, bringing him back. So it's good to see Brad Stevens making some moves. It is a little interesting to see them make this move without having their head coach position filled yet, because usually you kind of want to fill in the head coach or get their opinion. Like, hey, do you think we should make this deal? How do you feel about making this deal? What about this player and that player? But now that the move is made, you can tell them, like, hey, listen, this coming year, or I guess next year, we're going to be here. But now without Kemba and without Horford, we can be here. And when I emphasize here, it's because Al Horford, you can just get rid of him because all that money is no longer guaranteed. And you wouldn't be able to get rid of Kemba Walker, so you'll be able to sign a max free agent, not this coming year, but the year after that. And that that free agent class is going to be deep. Deep with a lot of players. Let's just discuss the notable players that will be in not this coming year, or not this year's, but next year's free agency class. Now, keep in mind, some of them are older, some of them are veterans, some of them are in their prime, and some of them have player options. So keep that in mind. There are player options out there. There are unrestricted free agents out there. Some of them have bird rights. But just if nothing happens, this is going to be the free agency class next year. John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Gary Harris, Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, Terry Rozier, Goran Dragic, and I'm kind of getting into, well, I guess Marcus Smart's there too. So you get the picture. It's deep. There's a lot of good players that's going to be wanting a lot of money. So moving on from Kemba Walker, so you can prepare yourself to get a potential deal with one of those guys done. Like I said, some of those guys have player options. John Wall, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Kemba, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving. They all have player options, which they can easily exercise and still make whatever the hell they're going to be making. Some of them don't. Some of them are unrestricted. Some of them have bird rights. So there will be dominoes to fall. Some of those guys won't be available. Some of those guys will be. But just to give you a picture of what moving on from Kemba Walker's contract will allow you to do, which opens up a max slot for 2022 where you'll be able to potentially sign one of these guys, right? So that is kind of why I don't mind bringing in Al Horford for the situation. I just hope that he's kind of gone before next year, I'd say. He's older. He missed a lot of games, injury, healthy scratches and such. He's just not the same guy anymore. So ESPN, before I finish talking about this trade, ESPN ranked this trade between the Celtics and the Thunder, obviously a letter grade. I'll give you what they said about the Thunder first, and that is they got an A-. Now, I'm not going to read over the big paragraph of sorts. I don't want to bore you. But they gave him an A- because they were able to move on from Al Horford's contract. They were able to bring in a playmaker in Kemba Walker to go alongside their young guys. They got a first-round draft pick. I feel like it's a win-win-win for them, right? And I think deservingly so they get an A-. I mean, like I said, they have the salary cap space to take on Kemba Walker's contract. You can always use another playmaker, another scorer to go alongside Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and down in Oklahoma. Kemba Walker's not a bad fit. I mean, Chris Paul was the point guard for them last year. They played very well, with that young group. So you throw in Kemba Walker, obviously who's no Chris Paul, but still another point guard. I think there's going to be something to happen there. And like I said, they got another first round draft pick, but it's, one of them at some point, you're going to have to kind of do something with all those draft picks that you have. But still, it's better to have a ton of draft picks than have no draft picks. And for the Celtics, they gave them a C+. Now, I disagree with that C+. Now, I understand that maybe the Celtics could have got more in return, or maybe made a bigger trade to kind of move some more pieces around. But I think a C+, I guess, is unjust, because Moses Brown, good young player with a lot of potential, high ceiling, and you bring in Al Horford, that probably pushes it down. But if you look on the flip side, you're giving up Kemba Walker and a 2021 first-round draft pick, which is the 16th overall in this year's draft. I'm not going to consider the second-round picks. It's basically a wash. But I think the thing that they're missing here is the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that they have so much more cap flexibility. They made $6 or $7 million this year. They're still under, so they have to make more moves, hence why I said there's more moves to be done. And also, like I've been saying, for the year after that, is they're going to be able to get rid of Al Horford, not pay him a dime, open up that max slot. So, in terms of, would you rather have Kemba Walker or Al Horford? Probably rather have Kemba Walker. Would you rather have a 16th overall pick or Moses Brown? Probably have the first round draft pick. So I get kind of why they put the C+ for the Celtics, but I just don't think they're looking big picture here. I think more of a B might be acceptable or called for the Celtics. I know it's not the best move. It's not the perfect move. You had to give up Kemba Walker. You had to give up a first round draft pick. And your return was kind of underwhelming in terms of what you're giving up. But like I said, look at that big contract of Kemba Walker. How good is this draft class going to be? I haven't done a lot of research into it, so I couldn't really tell you. But those are some intangibles that I think ESPN is forgetting. But on the flip side, I think the Oklahoma City trade grade of an A- is perfectly just. And I think a C+ for the Celtics is not so much. But that is what I have to say about this Oklahoma City Thunder and this Boston Celtics trade, where the Celtics get Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round draft pick, and the Oklahoma City Thunder get Kemba Walker, a 2021 first-round draft pick, which is 16th overall, and a 2025 second-round draft pick. Let me know your thoughts, your opinion, your comments down below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on audio-only platforms, which I know a bunch of you guys are. Reach out to me on social media at Murphs_BostonST, where the ST stands for Sports Talk. I want to hear your thoughts about it. I know Boston fans, Celtics fans are kind of on the fence about this one being a good trade, not being a good trade. So you heard my thoughts and opinions. I want to hear yours. Reach out to me and let's have a conversation, a discussion, a debate, or even an argument if that may happen. Transitioning over to our next topic of conversation, and that is the Madden 2022 cover athlete or athletes. I am surprised and not surprised at the same time that they picked Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So let me explain why I'm not surprised. Is because of that teaser video with Peyton Hillis that they had. I think they dropped it on Monday, where it was a barn and two goats come walking out. Obviously, one's a little older because they're taller and bigger. One's a little smaller. And then it just kind of goes over to Peyton Hillis to be like, yeah, they did it again. So a lot of people thought, obviously, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, because they've been referred to as, the GOATs. And I think Patrick Mahomes being in that GOAT conversation is way too, aggressive and egregious, right? He's been in the league for a handful of seasons. Yes, he's had some fantastic seasons. MVP, 50 touchdowns, Super Bowl. I get it. But a GOAT discussion and throwing him in there, I think is a little too fast. Could he get there? Yes, but I'm digressing because that's a conversation for another day. So I can see why people were saying that because of the whole GOAT piece of it. But the reason why I was surprised is because these two guys were just on the cover just a few seasons ago. Patrick Mahomes on Madden 20 and Tom Brady on Madden 28. So I just these guys were just on it. What is Madden's driving force by putting them both on? Tom Brady just won his 7th Super Bowl, his 5th MVP, and Patrick Mahomes is the baby GOAT, up and coming best player in the league, face of football, super talented, super, human highlight reels. And to throw them both on there is a cash cow, because there are tons of people out there that love Tom Brady and or love Patrick Mahomes. And for that reason, people are going to buy it because Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are both the face of football, whether you love the guys or you hate them. Whether you like one and don't like the other, or you don't like them, you're still going to buy the game. It's Madden. Tons of people buy the game. I'm not going to go into the fact that it's a copy and paste game every single year, but there are so many people out there that love Tom Brady and or love Patrick Mahomes. And if I'm little Timmy and I see, Patrick Mahomes is on the cover of Madden again, let me go get it. They're going to do it. They're going to want the money to go do it. So I get why they're doing it. It's a cash cow to have those two guys on it. And quite frankly, I kind of like the fact that there's two guys on the cover. I think it's different. Would I want it every year? I guess I wouldn't mind it. It gives more players clout and it gives them more, appeal in terms of a market outside of just playing football, right? But like I said, they were just on the cover in 2020 and in 2018, Mahomes and Brady respectively. Could this have been planned, or was this just kind of thrown together last second? Personally, I think this was thrown in last second. Quite frankly, and a lot of people are in this boat with me. A lot of people and I think that Aaron Rodgers was going to be on the cover. The reigning NFL MVP from the 2020 season. Why not? Why not put him on the cover? I mean, they do it every year, right? I mean, Jackson was the MVP the year before. He was on the cover. Mahomes was the MVP the year before. They put him on the cover. Antonio Brown could have won MVP the year he was on the cover, or the year before he was on the cover. Brady won the MVP before that. And so it's just like, all they do is just slap the MVP on there. Good to see that they didn't do it this year, but I just think Aaron Rodgers, it would have been something different. I mean, it feels like the past couple of years is Madden just puts the most hyped player on the cover from the year before. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Antonio Brown, Tom Brady, Gronk, Odell. Like, they're all hyped up players from like the year before. And I get it. I mean, Madden's a business. They're trying to do what's best for their business. But let's look at 2K. Now, I must say and admit that 2K is not perfect with their cover athletes by no stretch of the imagination. And they have their fair share of picking hype players. Don't get me wrong. But overall, I think they do a pretty decent job at doing so. And I'm only going to look at just the generic 2K cover athlete. I'm not going to look at the Legacy Edition or whatever the other edition is called that they have, the next gen, whatever. I'm just going to look at the traditional main guy. So this past year, it was Damian Lillard. Okay. The year before that, it was Anthony Davis. Year before that, Giannis. Year before that, where is it? Kyrie, Paul George. Then it went to, was it KD? Was it the year before? What was it in 2016? Oh, it was Steph Curry, James Harden, and Anthony Davis that year, right? They had the three athletes. They had their own separate covers. Then it was KD, LeBron, and, then it was, what was it? It was Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant, and Derrick Rose that year. So, I mean, I guess they're kind of reusing. I guess they used Kevin Durant very recently, and I guess they also reused Anthony Davis. But, like, at that time, they just weren't the most hyped up player. When Anthony Davis was just most recently on the cover, he was still with the Pelicans, and, the Pelicans weren't good, right? Damian Lillard this past year, he hit a nice, hit an insane buzzer beater in Paul George's face, but that was like a couple years ago now. So, and Kyrie was on the Cavaliers and then traded to Boston, so that had to get switched over to a Boston jersey. So there's a little bit of weight there, and I think Madden wanted Aaron Rodgers on the cover. But because of his whole situation in Green Bay, they were like, you know what? Let's not do this. Let's just hold out, pick somebody else, and they just kind of scrambled. Hey, face of football, Brady, Mahomes. Let's do this. I just kind of wish that they would have picked maybe like a Derrick Henry, because I think a lot of people thought he could have been on the cover. Someone who easily could have won the MVP himself, over 2,000 rushing yards. A lot of people like him. He's a monster, stiff arms. He's a 6'6", 260 running back, jacked. I mean, he's basically a linebacker, taking handoffs. That's what I wish Madden would do, because a lot of people like Derrick Henry, and he's different. He's not the face of football, but he's well up there. But it's just someone different. And I think a lot of people can kind of gravitate towards that, because you see Derrick Henry on there. It's not just a carbon copy. Oh, let's just pick the best player in the league. Let's just pick the MVP and just go with it. Like I said, Derrick Henry easily could have won the MVP. Easily could be the face of football, or at least the face of the Titans, right? For the way he's playing. But it's just different, because it seems like the Madden cover is so predictable. Like, after Antonio Brown, the season Patrick Mahomes had, it's like, oh, we all know that we're going to pick Patrick Mahomes. And then after the season Lamar had, it's like, well, everyone's hyping up Lamar Jackson because he's revolutionizing, I think, the quarterback position. And I would say in a negative way, but that's a conversation for another day. I got to write all these down so I can just dedicate one forsaken episode to all these conversations for another day. I think if you were to go back and track through 65 episodes, or I'm sorry, 60. This is the 65th episode. Track all the times that I've said conversation for another day. Let's talk about that next time. It probably will be like a 10-hour episode and like 100 different topics. So other players I would have liked to see on the cover, Devontae Adams, if you want to stay in Green Bay. DeAndre Hopkins. We could have saw Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray even, maybe. I just had it in my head. Saquon Barkley even. I think people would like that one as well. You could even go to Ezekiel Elliott. Dallas is not America's team, but, that could be a selling point for Madden, is America's team is on the cover. Ezekiel Elliott, have him with the crop top and showing his, six-pack. That is, a direction that you could go in. Or even have maybe Josh Jacobs or Derek. No, that would be stupid. I'm just trying to think, because Vegas, new team, new market. But I think that would be stupid. But then again, the Black Hole and the Raiders. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady is more of a cash cow than that. But you see what I'm trying to say here. Give us something different. Do something else. Terry McLaurin for the football team. A lot of people like him. Justin Jefferson for the Vikings had a phenomenal season. Guys, put Justin Herbert on the cover. He had a phenomenal season. In that nice Chargers powder blue jersey with the gold lightning bolt trim, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. That's what Madden needs to do moving forward. Don't just do carbon copy repeats just for the guaranteed cash cow. From a business perspective, yes. But from a product and a customer retention perspective, don't do it. Because a lot of people already have a problem with Madden, how it's just the same game for the past 6 or so years. All they do is just update the rosters and maybe improve the graphics a little bit. But obviously with the next-gen consoles, us older ones, Xbox One and PS4, we're not going to get that. And next-gen consoles are very limited right now. So you have to do something different to sell this product. And I think that's probably why they scrambled and put Mahomes and Brady on it, because they know it's going to get guaranteed sales. But just because you get guaranteed sales doesn't mean it's always going to stay. Because if they buy this game, because I will buy this game, and I know a ton of people will, and we see that it's the same game, we're less likely to buy it next year, regardless who's on the cover, because we know what we're going to get. But the folks at EA and Madden are saying that, hey, this game is going to be completely different. We're changing everything. It's going to be revamped and it's going to be better. Okay, let's see it. Hopefully you stay true to your word, because if you lie to us, it's not going to matter who you put on the cover next year. That's just a fact. And I don't think I'm alone in that boat. I think a lot of people are as well. So I really am curious of what your guys' thoughts are about this whole Madden cover, because it kind of threw me through a loop. When we saw the GOATs, it was kind of anticipated. But also, I kind of wish it was different as well. Those are just my thoughts. Reach out to me on social media at Murphs_BostonST, where the ST stands for Sports Talk, or comment down below if you're watching and listening on YouTube. I would love to hear your comments about it as well. But enough with football. Enough of basketball. Let's have our Red Sox minute, because Red Sox right now playing pretty good. And I have to say, before I go into anything, before I go into anything about, their little 2-game sweep over the Braves, I made a friendly gentleman's bet with my neighbor, who's a Braves fan. Weirdly enough, he's a Boston everything else fan, but the Red Sox. Well, I don't think he cares about football. I mean, not football, I'm sorry. I don't think he cares about hockey and basketball. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him again. We made a bet because he's a Braves fan. Obviously, I'm a Red Sox fan. And I was outside with Bogey. He let him go to the bathroom, and, guy comes out. His daughter's playing in the streets. I was like, oh, hey, big game tonight, right? He was like, yeah, we let that one slip last night. You guys got lucky. I was like, how about we make a friendly gentleman's wager? Loser buys the winner a 6-pack. Loser gets to choose because they're the ones at the liquor store. And he says, who's on the mound for the Braves? I was like, I don't even know who the starting pitchers are. I'm just going into this blind. I don't know who's pitching. It could be anybody. It ended up being Garrett Richards that was pitching. Ew, yeah. And before he checked, the pitchers, he was like, deal. I was like, let's go. It was, and then the game last night, obviously was up and down. Not last night, I'm sorry. It was 2 nights ago. And the game 2 nights ago was a little up and down. Red Sox took an early lead. Braves came back, took it. Red Sox had that massive grand slam by Christian Arroyo. That was fantastic. Very unexpected right there. And, as down as I've been on Christian Arroyo, he has been relatively nice as of late, being very clutch as of late. So I have to give credit where credit is due. I will not turn my face away from giving somebody credit when they deserve it. So, hey, all the props to Christian Arroyo. You got me a free 6-pack of beer. He got me Sam Adams. Very delicious. I was fully prepared to go out and get the beer myself because, like I said, the Braves were winning until Arroyo hit that grand slam. So, thank you, Arroyo, for the free 6-pack. But that was my little story about the Red Sox. Furthermore, what do we have to look forward to? Red Sox in Kansas City today. Boy, this weekend playing the Royals, 3-game series. Then they go to the Trop to play the Rays for another 3-game series. That's going to be a big series down there. And then the Yankees come into Fenway for a 3-game weekend series. That's going to be exciting. I think over these next 9 games, you got to win 6 or 7 of them, I would say. Especially against, go 2 or 3 against the Rays, go 2 or 3 against the Yankees, and then go 2 or 3 against the Royals. Hey, I wouldn't mind that. Right now, the Red Sox are a half a game back from the Rays for first place in the American League East. Yankees are 6 games back, and the Blue Jays are 8.5 games back as of the start of Friday's play. Very excited that this is still a relatively close division. I know the Yankees slipped a little bit and got close to double digits being back. Blue Jays have kind of slipped a little bit. But generally speaking, it is a close division because I am a firm believer if you're like 7 or 8 games out, more 7, 1 3-game, 1 4-game series could completely change it for the better and also for the worse. What I'm looking forward to, and obviously I'm going to talk about the Red Sox, come Monday, come Wednesdays, come next Friday's episode, is the pitching. The pitching is a big thing. Pitching has been really all over the place as of late, especially here in this month of June, giving up 8 runs to the Braves in both games, 8 in each game. They had a nice 1-run game on Monday, but then they gave up 18 on Sunday, 7 on Saturday, 5, 8, 8, 7. So it's kind of been, a little all over the place. They've been fortunate enough to win a bunch of these games, but I would just like to see a little bit more consistency from the bullpen as well. I have been a fan and a proponent of them, generally speaking, ever since like the first month or so after April. I just hope that they can continue the success and continue doing good. Obviously, baseball is cracking down on this whole sticky substance, foreign substance thing that pitchers are using. I think everyone's using it, or just about every pitcher is using it. And now that Major League Baseball is going to be cracking down starting on the 21st, we're going to have to see. And this isn't just a Red Sox issue. We're going to have to see how all of baseball is going to be able to perform. And I really think that this is going to be, I think the timing of it's actually really good. And a lot of people are saying, oh, just do it in the offseason, or you should have done it before the season. Well, if you wait till the offseason, you're going to have the entirety of the rest of this year played out where pitchers are still quote-unquote cheating. So that's why if you do it now, you have roughly half a season or so of games played throughout baseball with this sticky substance, spider tact, whatever the hell they're using. They're going to have those statistics, right? And then you'll have the rest of the season with pitchers not having this substance, foreign substances, and spider tact. So you're going to be able to have almost virtually 2 halves of a season of data to go off of, because the pitching, generally speaking, this year has been unprecedented. 5 no-hitters, averages, and batters' performance has been generally down all across baseball. This isn't a Red Sox issue, as we all know. So to see how the hitters perform the second half, or once this whole foreign substance policy is implemented, and how the pitchers perform when this policy is implemented on Monday. I cannot wait to the end of the season to kind of compare and contrast this data, because a lot of pitchers are saying, oh, we just do it for the grip. We're not doing it for spin rate or anything. We just want to get a better grip. Clammy, sweaty hands. The rosin bag's not good enough. I mean, if it's cheating, it's cheating. It doesn't matter if you're trying to get a spin rate or not. And I don't want to open a can of worms or anything, but I am a big proponent of, if you cheat, you should get punished. Steroids, spider tact, banging a trash can or whatever, it obviously, as I put chapstick on, should not be allowed in baseball. Plain and simple. So I really am glad that baseball is cracking down on this now, sooner than later, because hitting is down in baseball across the board. Averages, home runs, on-base percentage. And I will say that, I've said this a million times, that hitters nowadays just either hit a home run or they strike out. And that's also true. But I think because of the performance of the hitters thus far in the season, I think a lot of them are trying to just hit a damn base hit. I really do. And a lot of them are sucking at it. So, really, baseball needs to figure this out, because I've said this many times. It's a dying sport, and you can look at all the data and all the analytics. Also, why MLB needs expansion. The video I did on YouTube covering that topic. Maybe baseball isn't dying. But if you were to sit down and just watch a random game, would you want to watch a good, close game? Would you rather watch a blowout where it's just home runs after home run after home run? Or would you rather watch a 1-0 game for 3 hours? And now when I say a close game, I'm thinking maybe a 5-3, 6-5, kind of nail biter kind of game where it gets exciting late in innings. That's what I'm thinking of, and that's what I'm talking about. Baseball. You love it. You hate it. It's annoying. It's the best thing ever. It's the worst thing ever. But they just have some issues that they need to resolve. And this whole foreign substance gripping the ball, this whole strikeout or home run mentality, the long games, the long season, they really need to try to sit down this offseason and figure it out. And I'm not going to sit here and say that expanding will solve all the issues, because it won't. But it could solve some, and obviously expanding the league is a whole different animal rather than just adjusting rules. Obviously, they should probably try adjusting rules first. If the league wants to expand and there's people willing to pay for the expansion team, sure, that's one thing. Conversation for another day, I guess, right? But I'm really looking forward to this whole implementation of the foreign policy, suspension, and the fines and all that good stuff for baseball, because it's going to give us a good handful of data. Because is all this pitching success and all this poor batting performance due to that or not? Because come the end of the season, if the stuff is the same, then the pitchers this year just had a really good year. Partially because they cheated. But I guess the second half of the year would tell us if, that substance was really a game changer for them or not. We'll just have to wait and see until the end of the season after 162 games for all 30 Major League teams. But Red Sox this weekend, next week, and into next weekend have a lot of big games coming up. First time the Sox will play Andrew Benintendi and the Royals this year. Obviously, Benny will see his former club, his former teammates. And speaking of which, the Royals will be in town not this Monday, but next Monday for a 4-game set where Benny will be home or back home in Boston for the first time since being traded, which will be a nice little momentous thing, I guess. But we will have to wait till then because that's way ahead of us. Next 9 games for the Red Sox. Would love to see them win 6, ideally 7, but I'll settle for 6. We're going to be looking forward to hopefully those 3 games that they lose isn't a sweep from the Rays or the Yankees. That would be nice. But that is what I'm looking forward for the Red Sox. Just keep the pitching consistent or just try to adjust. The lineup, I think, is doing really solid right now, as there are problems with every lineup. But recently, they've been relatively clutch, and they've been really good as of late. I'm going to keep saying this, though, until it happens. You have to improve the team. You have to go out and make changes. Not drastic changes, but small, subtle changes to help improve this team. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I'll be saying until it actually happens, because it might not happen, and then I'll be sitting here after July 1st. I don't even know what day July 1st is on. What day is it on? July 1st. Okay, so yeah, July 1st is a Saturday, so I'll be sitting here on August 2nd episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk on Monday, talking about how the Red Sox didn't make any moves. They are 1 or 2 players short, and they're going to get either missed or get ousted in the playoffs early, and it'll happen. I guarantee it. It'll freaking happen. And I'm not saying if you go out and make a trade that it won't happen, but go out and make a trade. It'll significantly help your team's chances, because that is what trading for players do. So, guys, I know I've ranted and I've rambled on and on and on about 3 interesting topics, right, for all of their own respective reasons. Celtics trading Kemba for Al Horford, essentially. The Madden 22 cover, and the Red Sox and the whole foreign substance policy thing that's going on in baseball. That has opened up a can of worms across the league for media, for players, for fans, and all that. Really interested to see how that goes. But nonetheless, go out. Enjoy your weekend. I got to get away from the mic. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Beautiful. It's going to be beautiful all weekend. Don't hang out inside like me recording a podcast. Go outside. Enjoy. 88 degrees tomorrow. 88 on Sunday. 90 on Monday. And then today, I think the high was like 84 or something like that. I think my car read 89 at one point. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's summer. Go outside. Go swimming. Do something. Don't just be inside all day. Enjoy this beautiful weather, because we can actually enjoy it this year, unlike we were able to last year. But folks, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, whatever, thank you so much for downloading, listening, and enjoying this episode of Murph's Boston Sports Talk. I really hope you enjoyed it. Different episode today, I guess, obviously covering some Boston topics and the NFL topic of the Madden cover, which I didn't think I'd be talking about, to be honest. But we covered that all today in this episode. I really hope you enjoy your weekend, and I really hope to catch you for Monday's episode, a re-entry Monday. Hopefully we have a lot of good stuff to talk about over the weekend, or after the weekend, I should say. Game 7 for the Bucks-Nets series tomorrow. Who do you have? I hope it's the Bucks. As much as I hate the Bucks, I hate the Nets more because the whole Kyrie, Durant, Harden thing. If the Bucks don't win it, when will they have the chance? The Nets are dinged up. It is now or never for Milwaukee. They're in Brooklyn, so it's going to be tough. James Harden, not 100%. Kevin Durant playing out of his mind. Kyrie Irving spraining a mosquito bite on his right ankle, missing a ton of games in a walking boot because Lucky got his revenge. But yeah, Kyrie Irving's out because he sprained his ankle earlier in the series. Milwaukee, hopefully they win Saturday. We'll have to wait and see. But folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to download, listen, and enjoy. Catch me on all social media platforms at Murphs_BostonST, where the ST stands for Sports Talk. Thank you so much for joining me. But between now and next episode, you know that I love you, and you know that I will always see you.